Romans 10:11 says, in the CEB version, all who have faith in him won't be put to shame. Today we are here to thank the Lord for causing us to give birth to our second child in peace and to relocate to Maryland safely by the grace of God. This all began last year, marriage fast, when Apostle and Prophetess took me through deliverance because the enemy wanted to attack our second child again. And honestly, my firstborn was only 9 months. So I was not rushing to have another child, but not knowing it was God's will that I would have a second child in that season. And so that is why the enemy attacked. And so I thank God that Prophetess saw ahead of time what the enemy wanted to do, and they took me through the appropriate deliverance, that what God wanted to manifest could not be hindered. When we were choosing his name, the Lord gave us peace about the name Judah. He had promised us that the end of my pregnancy would end in praise. And as we all know, Judah means praise. Again, I didn't really understand how it would end in praise besides just a safe delivery, but he has so much more in store for us than just a safe delivery. Many dreams went ahead of this pregnancy, but even before I talk about the second pregnancy, I have to remind you all how God saved my life at the end of my first pregnancy. I was diagnosed with preeclampsia, and I was dying. I was literally on bed rest for the final week of my pregnancy. And the enemy wanted to cause so many surgical interventions, but God spoke last. He spoke last and allowed me to push my first child out with no issues, despite the complications that came about towards the end of the pregnancy. So I thank God for that preservation. Now, the second pregnancy, I wanted strategy on how to avoid affliction from happening twice. And so Dr. Larissa DMs me on Instagram, and basically I asked, who knows a black Christian OBGYN? And then she messages me and she said, Sister Lucy, I would like to help you with whatever you're looking for. And then she says, we need to change your diet. We need to put you on a plan. And she made sure I was taking moringa. She made sure I was watching my salt intake, everything possible. She made sure she was monitoring my diet so that affliction cannot enter. Because sometimes we're too spiritual and we don't do the practical. And so she made sure I did the practical. And this pregnancy was 10 times better than my first pregnancy by the grace of God. And so I asked God to allow me to have a medication-free pregnancy and delivery. They tried to diagnose me with anemia, but Dr. Larissa said, not on her watch. She put me on another diet, and before we knew it, my blood was back to normal. And I remember going into a covenant with God as my husband was asked to go help in the Maryland branch from March all the way until now. He was going back and forth, and I said, God, as we've said yes to doing the work, as my husband is going and I'm still coming here teaching Sunday school, keep this second child, keep this pregnancy, and cause me to birth supernaturally. And indeed, God was faithful in answering that prayer. In addition to that, I was going through scriptures of different people in the Bible who travailed and brought forth quickly. I even read a book called Supernatural Childbirth that has testimonies of people who their first pregnancies were complicated, but then God intervened in a different way for the subsequent pregnancies. And by God's grace, I was able to partake in those kinds of testimonies. Now, fast forward to Think Pink 2024. I made a vow in my heart. I said, God, as I buy this ticket, I'm not getting too familiar with Prophetess. As I go and help the woman of God push this vision out, Lord, just remember me. That was the only prayer I prayed. We got to Think Pink a week ahead, and Sister Diamond had a dream that I gave birth on the land. And then Prophetess tells me she had a dream that I gave birth on the land. I also had a dream that I gave birth on the land. And I'm just thinking, oh, it's just because I'm here. That's why I'm dreaming this. So we went to the final stages of Think Pink. The Thursday, I believe, was it the Wednesday of Think Pink, I was asked to lead prayer for Team Pink, and I was having very painful contractions. But even that Monday of Think Pink, I decided to go and do the 5 a.m. walk just to start moving around, because at that point I was 39 weeks. Yes, that was very risky for me to go to Think Pink at 39 weeks, but I trusted God. And so from Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday, I started to contract. I was in pain, and I didn't know what was going on in my body. Mind you, we're Connecticut residents, so my doctors are in Connecticut. But Dr. Larissa, who was in Maryland, was checking on me, making sure everything was normal. I finished leading an opening prayer for Team Pink, and I come into the office, and I'm like, I can't do this. This pain is unbearable. So the protocol went to go call Apostle and Prophetess, and then they prayed for me. And Prophetess looked me in the eye and goes, it's go time. And I'm like, really? It's go time? So they prayed for me. They declared quick dilation, quick breaking of my water, everything quick with no interventions. Would you believe this was around 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday of Think Pink? We said, we're getting our hospital bag. We're going to make our way to the hospital. Between Prophetess praying for me and me going back to the gatehouse on the land, my water breaks. I begin to dilate, and I begin to feel the urge to push. Dr. Larissa said, Pastor, please, go get the hospital bag. You guys should go. They start heading out the door. I said, we're not going to make it to the hospital. And so Dr. Larissa comes to check me. She goes, Lady Lucy, the baby's head is here. He's here. He's here. You need to start to push in the bedroom of the gatehouse. So I said, I can't just lay down. I want to get in the shower. Can I use water to help me contract, help me just push through the pain? So I got into the shower of the house. Dr. Larissa is being a blessing. She's rubbing my back. She's helping me just travail through the pain. No, oh, Jesus. I'm going to talk about Dr. Larissa. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. So when I get into the shower, I said, Lord, take over from here. I hear Apostle, my husband, Pastor Jalik, Minister Jarrett in the downstairs of the house praying down the heavens, and I'm pushing, and I hear Nurse Anayel, I hear Sister Amma, I hear Lady Debbie barging through the doors, praying, and then I feel the urge to push. I pushed once, I pushed twice, and then the baby was out. Dr. Larissa grabbed the baby. Nurse Anayel was pushing the baby's fluid out of his mouth. Before we knew it, the paramedics were there. Before we knew it, they checked our vitals. Everything was normal. The baby was dedicated to the Lord in the house on Maryland's land. Ah! Jesus! And before we left to go get checked at the hospital, Apostle said, do you realize that this baby came to establish you guys in Maryland? Do you realize that this baby came to fulfill the prophecy? 60th anniversary. Prophet Prophetess said, I see Elijah and Lucy working in a vineyard, and they will do well. Not knowing the vineyard was Maryland. Not knowing this child will come to establish our place in Maryland. We go to the hospital. The doctors are looking at me like, you gave birth 2 hours ago? They checked me. They said no tears, no nothing. The baby was normal. I was even nervous if the hospital would pay for labor and delivery because it was out of state. That too, they tried to give us a hard time because labor and delivery is expensive. Some few weeks later, we get a call, everything is paid for. We left the hospital in 2 days, went back to Think Pink, finished Think Pink strong because I said I still have some things I need to go and possess. I still have some things. I don't even know where to end. Dr. Larissa was the destiny helper that God sent at the set time. When she contacted me, I didn't even think we would be permanently established in Maryland. At that time, I was under the impression that my husband was just going to help. Not knowing that was the place called there for us in this changing season. Dr. Larissa made sure my diet was on point. She made sure I was not eating too much sweets. She made sure I was not overweight. I did not swell. I didn't have any complications. Nothing like my first pregnancy. I thank God for everyone who God used to complete this testimony. Even in the hospital, Pastor Jalik and Lady Debbie, Brother Matthew and Brother Des, everyone who helped take care of Izzy, my sister Lynn. Oh, Lynn. Oh, Lynn. Oh. I thank God for my sister. good. Carrying the second baby in my belly, she made sure I was coming to church. Sister Liz would pick me up to bring us to church. Cesaria, all of you guys who made sure I would come to church safely to keep serving God while my husband was doing the work of the Lord. Thank you guys. On the weekends, sometimes while my husband was gone, they'll come take us to Barnes & Noble to make sure I got out the house and I wasn't home alone and bored out of my mind. So I thank God for everyone God used in this season of transition. And I thank God for Apostle and Prophetess for standing with us through every season in our marriage. Every season. They have walked with us, counseled us, rebuked us, but counseled us, loved on us, made sure that we would not fall in the journey. And so if we stand here, we're thanking our family as well for just supporting us, being so loving, taking in the kids. We thank God for everyone in this house, all the ministers, Pastor Jalik and Lady Debbie. God bless you guys for helping us transition with your counsel. We thank God for Papa Kenneth, Pastor Kenneth, and Mama Sonia. God bless you guys for giving us wisdom. The Sunday school ministry, God bless you guys. I love them so much. I remember before we left, they gave us so many diapers and baby gifts. And even at the baby shower, Sister Lisa and Minister Jamal, God bless you guys for putting together a baby shower that was so beautiful, and it allowed us to be sent off in peace. We lacked nothing. All the gifts, everything was just a blessing. And indeed, God will not let you be put to shame when you put your trust in Him. In 2020, I was lost, confused, didn't know what to do with my life. And then this man walks through the doors of Mission Mansion, not knowing he was also going through a divorce. And then God crossed our paths supernaturally. And even how we met was a prophecy delivered by Prophetess herself. And so from the time in 2020 to all the times that prophetic words will come, I'm standing here to say God fulfills His word. He fulfills His word so long as you trust Him, so long as you are dedicated to service to God seriously. Because who am I to be sent out with my husband to lead a church? Who are we to be called pastor and lady? Who are we? But it is by the mercies of God. If it wasn't for the mercies of God, I would have been consumed. But His mercy kept me. He allowed me to give birth without complications so speedily with no issues. He allowed our family to be kept through this season. He has preserved us, and I can't thank God enough. And so the Conde family says, God bless you, church. God bless you, Apostle and Prophetess. God bless you all. And we thank God for His faithfulness. Amen.
Oh, no, that was it. That was it. Amen. Amen. God bless you all. My wife has said everything. We are so appreciative of this church. Apostle Prophetess, God bless you. We love you so much for just standing in the gap for us and with us ever since I've gotten to meet them as well. I'm just out of words right now. I just want to thank God for restoration. As Lady Debbie said, this house is truly a house of restoration. So I just want to thank God for what He has been doing and what He's going to continue to do. Amen. 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 Let us all be on our feet and thank God. Amen.